Thank you, sir. I am Dr. Haider from Ranchi,
Yeah.
Jharkhand. Yeah. My question, His Holiness, is that it is human behavior that we are not contented with whatever we have achieved in our life, leading to encroaching others' rights and disharmony in society. What is your advice to remain contented and bring peace and harmony in societies?
I think uh, I would like to answer that question on the level of secular ethics. Use our intelligence, the material value. In any way, there is limitation. Even you owned whole world, firstly whole India, then eventually whole Asia, then eventually whole world, but still you may not content. You want to own moon or Mars. It's impossible. There's a story, in ancient sort of Indian story, one sort of king, you see, he owned, he already sort of conquered the, I think Bharat, I think many parts. Then still, you see, he want more, he want more. That kind of story is there. So in reality, in any case, there is limitation. In that field, much comfortable practice content. Because in any way, you keep greed, want more, want more, want more. Sooner or later, you will face disappointment. Clear, certain. Now, mental sort of values, no limitation. Like physical sort of the physical thing, like sports, singings, there's limitation. Mental quality, training, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, still you gain more knowledge, no limitation. So things which related with mind, no limitation. Now, more greed in that field, want to more develop, want to more sort of advance. So, the reality itself, where in any way there's limitation, in that field, better content. The field where no limitation, then should not content. Discontent, very relevant, right? Like that. So usually we just opposite. Spiritual, mental development, we contented. Not much interest, isn't it? The material value, there is a limitation, but we want more and more and more and more. And finally, more disappointment. And only sort of desire, greed. Now, some, you see, my friend, the economist. So a few years ago, you see, when the global economic crisis start, out of my curiosity, I asked some of my friends, some big businessmen, sort of men, I asked, you, even in dream, always thinking about money, money, money. You are truly expert. But then, nobody wants this kind of the economic crisis. But ultimately, your own creation. What is the real causes of that? Out of my curiosity, I asked. Then they say, too much greed. Simply greed, without sort of seeing, long-term consequences. That's ignorance. Then also, you see, speculation without something very certain, but simply according to your wish, you see, create certain sort of situation, speculation. So the economic crisis also related with discontentment, not proper sort of knowledge of the reality. Simply, I want more, I want more. So, because of that, contentment. So, contentment, I think, realistic sort of thinking, realistic approach. This much I can get, do it. Then, now okay, I have sufficient things, now okay. Person who have that kind of mental attitude, and a person who always want more and more and more, I think mental state, the other person who have some contentment, much more calm mind, much more calm than the other one. Sometimes my friend, again is a business, so I sometimes teaching them, you are slave of money. Just thinking money, and they sacrifice their own time, because of their whole time. One time I noticed, there's one Russian, many years ago, in Moscow, one Russian business. See, he told me he have to go Los Angeles that same day, and spend a few hours in Los Angeles, then immediately return to Moscow. I felt such a long trip, and spend for a few hours, and then long trip return. I thought there's clear sign of slave for money. Like that. You see, the wrong view here. Some profit, then they, through illusion, real illusion, they feel, oh, now I got this much money. Actually, what benefit? Physically or mentally? Nothing. I think contentment in such field, yes, I think. But here, individual level, contentment, very relevant. But national level should not feel that way. Discontent. For example, here, most populated democratic nation, India should develop. Now, millions and millions of poor Indian. I think a few days ago, I heard through BBC, in India, through medical university program, the polio, almost now eradicated. That's really a wonderful achievement. Just similarly, I think many fields, particularly in the rural area, I think medical facilities still very poor. And also the farming, agriculture, technology in these fields, I think still India needs a lot of sort of development. So the national interest, not selfish Indian, but concern about whole world. India is a healthy nation. So you must sort of develop so that you can help more people. So Indian, I think, should think more wider way. Should not concentrate on your own area. So one of my experiences, I participated number of sort of occasion of some meeting. I got the impression they very few who speak with greater vision about world. Quite few. Only think your own area. So now you must look all those great Indian masters. They always talk entire sentient being. So you must think that way. Must develop great vision, like Mahatma Gandhi ji and Nelson Mandela. I think they are sort of, because of that, because of they start the concept of ahimsa and implementation, not only for their own nation, but humanity. So you should think wide away. I think you have potential to make significant contribution on this kind of, for the well-being of the humanity. Good, thank you.
One last question, please.
Your Holiness, I was born in Dharamshala the year you came to Dharamshala.
Oh, really?
And,
Oh.
Yeah. And I always thought
Quite lucky then.
So I always thought that I grew up with your thoughts, and now I work in PGI Chandigarh, and the motto there is Arth Seva Sarvbhadra Shodhascha, meaning that service of the poor and education and research for the good of humanity. Recently I went to Bhutan, and my question is that
Wow.
there you have an indicator, the gross national happiness. In Bhutan, the indicator of health and of economy is gross national happiness. Would you like to suggest this indicator to our policymakers who are just sitting next to you today to become the same indicator for India?
Yes, that's good. But you see, they very easy to say that. But real development, real materializes such sort of stage, right? Such sort of community, lot of works need education, mainly education. Now this year, I think some Delhi University now with sort of full full cooperation, right? I think full cooperation, or we already you see doing some research work, how to introduce in modern education system about the secular ethics. So last several years, I always see expressing that, and also many educationists in America, in Europe, and also many scientists really sort of realize the existing modern education system is something lacking about, you see, shaping our emotion or mind. Usually these things, you see, relying on religions. Now that now shows limitation. So only through education we can transform community or people like that. So education is extremely important. Then economy, also very important. Now this huge gap, rich and poor. Not only morally wrong, but practically also solves the problem. At Dharamsala, on small construction in my own area, I asked some of the laborers, they come from Khasa, Chhattisgarh, right? Chhattisgarh. They came. Some lady, very poor, and with their children. I think nobody want to live from their own village. But there's no proper way to earn. So they come so very far and cold climate. So real transformation of India must take place in rural area, not just big cities in Delhi or Hyderabad or in Bombay or Calcutta, Bangalore. No. The rural area must sort of transform, modernize. So through that way, we can reduce this gap, rich and poor. Even big city, number of people or the streets of children, these people come from village area. Like Europeans, they are facing some problem because of just next other continent, Northern Africa or Africa, is economic condition very poor. So a lot of sort of immigrate and create trouble. So these big cities also, a lot of sort of poor, jobless people come from rural area, and population increasing, and hygiene also is a problem. Like that. So I think India, we really need, in order to kasoda, happy kaza. Oh, that happiness through worship, pray to God, never materialize. About 2-3 years ago, one time in Patna, the present chief minister, I know him quite well. So he invited, this is one sort of ceremony, opening ceremony, one Buddhist Vihara in Patna. So at the function, he mentioned, due to Buddha's blessing, the Bihar state rapidly more prosper, he mentioned. Then my turn talk. And of course, I know the chief minister quite well. So I told him, if your state rapid sort of prosperity through Buddha's blessing, then your state much earlier must develop, because the last 2,500 years, Buddha's blessing always there. So the Buddha's blessing must go through able chief minister's hand, I told him. So that's a fact. So the happy society, I think 1,000 years, Indians always pray, but fail. Buddha, from the Buddhist viewpoint, Buddha say, Buddha mentioned, my sort of responsibility is to show the guide. And the real things are in your own effort. It entirely depends on your own effort. Buddha said that. So Buddha say, you are your own master. So our future, the India's future, entirely depends on Indian people. So here, now, education, I think, a key factor. Then development in rural area, again through education, including technology, knowledge, technology, modernize farm sort of system, and then health. Then gradually, I think, the Kasatiki issues, what do you call it? National happiness, then will come. So the Bhutanese, they wonderful as a Buddhist sort of nation, very wonderful. But we have to see, we have to see, wait to see. After 10 years, 20 years, we have to see. Unless you see these actual sort of thing develop properly, it's not easy to achieve that. That's my view. Thank you.